This episode is brought to you by Ride Clean. Ride Clean is truly a ultra premium polish, wash, and sealer. It's simple to use. Just simply shake, spray, and wipe, and you're done. You can use it anywhere on your motorcycle, including your leather or vinyl, your windshield, your helmet. It's very simple, very mirror-like finish, UV protection, water sealant, water repellent, made in the USA. Check them out at rideclean.co. Use promo code RBPodcast for 25% off, plus free shipping. Plus, they're adding a 2-ounce bottle to assist your 16-ounce or 32-ounce bottle. Welcome back to the Ride Boundless podcast. On this episode, we have the founder of Los Angeles Moto, content creator, motorcycle influencer, and my good friend, Mark Gamo. Mark is a Ride Boundless OG. He was on the podcast before. If you haven't heard that episode, make sure to check it out. It's episode 7. Without further ado, here we go.
First of all, cheers. Are we recording?
Yeah. Happy New Year's, brother.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah, it's been, we were just talking about it, April last time you were here.
I know. Well, yeah, March, right before COVID.
Yeah.
Right? I think we were talking about that.
Yeah.
I don't think we had the closures yet.
We didn't. You were traveling. You just came back from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Qatar. I came back from Qatar March. March is when they started talking about
March
they're going to
15th.
start closing stuff down.
Yeah, and we got in the beginning of March, came in here right before the closure,
Right.
and we're talking about something happening.
And
And
we
a
had
week later,
no
it
idea.
shut down.
Yeah, we had no idea.
No idea.
The end of the world was happening.
Because we were talking about, like the hand-built show coming up and all these, motorcycle stuff happening this
They stopped all
2020, and then
of them. They stopped
Nothing.
all of them. Nothing happened from there.
so hopefully this year is going to be different. I doubt it. I doubt that anything's going to happen. I feel like it just takes one person to just like, fuck it, I'm going to do it, and hopefully everyone follows or they get ridiculed for it.
Yeah, what's interesting is a lot of people had a very good year. They were very busy, productive, started a business, for the podcasting was awesome. Overall, most people that I know were doing, you can ash in there if you want. Most of the people started a business, t-shirt company, online content went up fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What's this site that everybody's using?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans has been blowing up. It's fucking hilarious. I'm ready to do an OnlyFans page.
I was just joking about that. I'm like, I got videos and all this bullshit that I've collected, and I'm like, why don't I just put it up there and see what happens? But, as a guy's OnlyFans, and who knows who's gonna pick up on it.
Who knows? The whole purpose of this podcast is, if I can grow and scale it to, whatever huge amount of numbers, awesome. But it's not about that. It's if I can affect one person or, the right person listens, things change. If I can convince, I've had people come up to me and saying, hey, thank you for talking about the insurance, because now I up my insurance because people are paying the bare minimum and now they have better coverage. Writing, taking classes, if you could just influence one person, you don't know. You don't know who's out there and who's going to see it. But if you don't put yourself out there, then you'll never know.
Well, I wonder what's our takeaway from this episode.
Well, this episode, I want to focus on what you've created on Instagram. I want to go over. I had Nathan on. This episode's probably going to be 2-3 down because it's just been busy. I have a lot of that I have to publish, but I want to talk about your travels, tips on. Well, first of all, your travels, where you've been riding, how you've been liking riding in other countries. And then how do you do it? What's some tips and tricks so people can live this lifestyle or kind of get there?
It's funny because I was just with my buddy Bob Hicks, tremendous, amazing guy. He's probably he's just my brother, right? And he mentioned, he's like, hey, a few people has been asking me, is like, they've been watching your videos, like, what does he do for a living? Like, how does he get away with doing all this shit? And seems like he doesn't work at all. But on the back end, if I'm not posting anything, if I'm not anywhere, I'm on the computer hustling. It's all basically online now. I had a leather company that was good. I had a business partner before.
And no question, that leather company, is it something you were, was it drop ship? Was it, you started the cuts and your own brand?
It was wholesale. So we did wholesale. So it was a branded leather company. And then also we did private label.
Right.
For other companies like, RSD, Iron Resin, other companies like that. And then as well as fashion. So it was good. And I learned a lot from it. And I'm like, hell, I'm going to do my own. I'm just going to do it myself. And now it's all drop ship. So I have my suppliers everywhere from Pakistan, India, Mexico, Portugal. So everything I do is basically dropping them the designs, getting the samples done, approving them, getting them made, and then selling it to whoever's going to purchase online. So we're just talking about Amazon and Walmart and big box, e-commerce stuff. And to be honest, that's the way to go right now. It's
how does the Walmart work the same way as Amazon? Because I know how Amazon works, but
yeah, they created their own marketplace that's basically anyone that has a product can sell on their website.
Really?
So and it's super easy to do. There's actually, it's funny because if you Google motorcycle stuff, I think Amazon pops up as like number 3 or 4. Yeah. So from tires to gloves to, outerwear stuff, they have it. And it's kind of like unbeknownst to anybody in that they're starting something like a third party market where anybody can sell anything they want. So I got into it when I was working with Dickies Moto, and we got into it, and I started, applying my own products into it. And so all I'm doing is just basically fulfillments and reorders, and it just does its own thing.
What about the marketing? How do you get your products first? Is it having several products in at the same time? Is it having one solid product? Are you doing online ads? Are you doing social media marketing? How's that part?
Well, the good thing about that is there's so many consumers out there, right? Like we're in LA, we're always looking for like the top name products. But once you go outside of LA and like the middle market, middle America, they don't purchase, high-end brands. Yeah. It's all the knockoff stuff. So what I'm basically doing, I'm not doing kind of like I'm branding something cool and like this is going to be for the elite people that's going to pay X amount of dollars, right? I'm looking for more of the masses where, okay, that's cool. Like a Roland Sands, leather gloves is what, 180 to 150 bucks.
Yeah.
I'm looking to cut that market down and bring it to like $50 to $60.
Yeah.
For that someone that's going to be like, oh, well, it's good enough. It looks cool. It'll fit my, fit my personality. And I'm going to be saving $80. So that's what I'm grabbing is like more volume rather than like.
And are you designing, because the gloves you posted not too long ago that you just wore right now, those are badass. You design those?
Yes.
That's badass.
And obviously in the fashion world, it's like you're ripping or you're borrowing aesthetics from other companies, right?
Of course.
So you're kind of changing it around, making it a little bit different, but the price point is where I'm targeting is basically the lower price points for middle America. And so, Amazon has their own like SEO stuff that you need to learn about, like how to present the products, how to make it like your top 10 searches on there. So it's like keywords like gloves, motorcycle, I don't want to say hipster, but
serial killer.
Yeah. Hey, don't get your hands dirty. Yeah. Wear these gloves, buy them. It's only $49 compared to like, the elite, like American psycho stuff like that. But
is there a big difference in quality when you go with certain brands versus other brands?
No, because if you really know your sources, they can make those same qualities. And at the same time, most of those companies produce for top-notch companies out there.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand. That's very true. Like even the whole China thing, people are like, China stuff's cheap, but it's like China makes fucking amazing things too.
They can
you get what you pay for,
They can literally knock off anything you want them
Yeah.
to make. So yeah, I wouldn't
Well,
I
not
wouldn't
only-
knock down any of those out, overseas companies, just because if you're really careful and you want to look at your tags, most of them are overseas. Like if it's made in America, great, but you're going to be paying for that, that little tag in your shirt.
Right.
But for the most part, everything's made in overseas.
Everything.
Pretty much everything.
I'm trying to think what's not. I mean, I do like the whole concept of Buy America, but
Yeah.
it's just we're in a shared global economy, and everybody has to do like this is why, even Harley Davidson now has a factory in India. This is why a bunch of other companies are doing stuff. Even the high brands, I've heard rumors that like Louis Vuitton and these big brands, they get their shit made in China, then they'll ship it to France, and then they'll finally, stamp it and say, okay, made in France or in Paris
Yeah.
or whatever the case. This is what I heard. I'm not.
It's true. I mean, there's companies that were like, we need to make this item of clothing to be a USA tag on it. Like, great. Do you want to pay for the price point, or do you want us to figure it out and still put that brand logo on that, a USA made?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will. Let's say we'll make all the cut and sews, all the raw materials from X country, and we'll bring it here. We'll do all the final stages to it, and yes, the portion of the product is made overseas, but a percentage, which is I think in the fashion world, is about
And watch your hands on the table.
50. Sorry,
They could just hear it like crazy.
it's about let's say like 51%,
Right.
maybe even less. So you can figure that out and still put that tag. USA made.
It's funny because when I was like 10 years old, I remember having a Huffy mountain bike, and it said "Made in the USA," and my brother was telling me the sticker is made in the actual sticker that says "Made in the USA" is made in the USA. The bike is made in elsewhere. Who knows?
Right.
And that's kind of like the same thing that I've heard about these luxury brands, and even the luxury brands. I get frustrated because come on. Louis Vuitton or fucking Prada, they're acting like they're exclusive, but fuck, they're in every city in the world, and they have thousands and thousands and thousands of bags. There's nothing exclusive about these brands. It's just insane how much they charge, the markup, especially, and I'm picking on Louis because it's canvas. It's not even leather. It's canvas. It sells for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and that's so fucking insane.
Yeah.
When you do the online stuff, do you make all your things, or is there certain things that is just drop shipping that's already designed that you go, fuck, I like this. Let me put this on my site. I like this. And do you do anything from your own site, or everything is Amazon and Walmart?
Everything's all Amazon, Walmart. Yeah. So right now it's just I'm starting slow, just because honestly I started with that kind of business about 3 months ago.
Really?
Right before I went or moved to Austin, which that's where I'm at now.
Did you move?
I fucking moved, dude. Like I was over LA.
What the fuck is juice, bro? What do you mean?
I was over LA. Been over it since. I mean, honestly, I've always wanted to move out of LA. I'm from here, and before college, I was like, all right, get my degree, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna get the hell out of here and experience the world, right?
Yeah.
And life happens, and things happen, and 10 years later, you're still longing for that adventure, right? And so I think Austin was calling my name from this funny story about that. I was at actually a motorcycle event, the Dofo Winery event with Roland Sands.
Nice. I'm interviewing them next week.
Yeah. So I was looking for an apartment. Everything was just high price.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let me correct that. I interviewed them last week because this episode is going to be out like in 3 weeks, so it's going to be all backwards. But yeah, That's what I was talking. But yeah, so Roland Sands, they had this amazing event. It was like kind of it was like the Beach Classic, but they made it into like a moto ranch where they only invite a selected few due to COVID. So there was less than 200 people there, curated for like a weekend. And it was amazing. So, sipping my wine,
watching the sunset, trying to figure out the next chapter of my life. And I was just talking to a buddy of mine who works for Rolling Sands, and he kind of just made that pivot. You know, it's like, you know, things are just kind of shit right now. You know, we're living in Long Beach. It's like high crime rate. There's always mugging in front of my house. We just want to get out. So they bought this 10-acre ranch up in Landers. And I think, you know, Alex is going to know, you know, I'm talking about him. But
shout out to Alex.
Shout out to Alex. But it just kind of inspired me. I'm like, I don't have to live in LA. I don't have to like be in Long Beach or be in Orange County to kind of like do what I'm doing, just because right now there's nothing. Like I was riding around LA and it's like, it's so depressing. You know, nobody's out. Like it's just kind of, it doesn't have that electricity like what most people outside of LA are longing for. Like, oh my God, it's so exciting there. There's so many things to do. I'm like, nope, not since like 2019. You know, everything's just kind of been
even back then.
Pause.
Even back then, it was still a tough city. I mean, I'm born and raised LA. I love LA. I've said it many times. It's a love-hate. You know, like a part of me is like, let me get the fuck out of here. Another part of me is like, I can't. You know, it's fucking LA. But even before COVID, I mean, let's cut the bullshit. The clubs finished at 1:30. Yep. You're out at 2. Finding an after party was difficult. They're there, but it was difficult. Everybody's trying to be like the women. Let me just, you know, talk about the women. You go anywhere around the world, and women are so beautiful, so educated, so intelligent, so talented, and so down to earth.
Yep.
You in LA, sorry girls, the ugliest one will be stuck up. The ugliest girl in Los Angeles will be fucking completely stuck up for no reason.
Yeah.
Is not bilingual, doesn't have a degree, doesn't have education, doesn't have background. And I know there is, that's not all Los Angeles girls, but they have none of this. I have my best friend, my brother, he started an online commerce store. And it's in a way it's so silly, but it's such a great niche. You know, he grabs people's pictures of their pets and he puts them like on kings and he puts them on emperors, and it's so fucking silly. And everybody from the beginning was like, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. But guess what? He's killing it. He's murdering it. Now he's traveled to Bali. He lived in Palm Desert before. He's never traveled out of the country. I took him to Cuba once. He's never traveled out of the country, and now he's been to Bali. He went to Tony Robbins, and now he's been living in fucking Cancun by Playa del Carmen for the last year. And he's making a killing and loving life. And he says, Robert, the women, it's so crazy. I've never had so many women. They're everywhere. They're smart. I found one that speaks 5 different languages. The other one plays piano. The other one fucking has a whole orchestra. And the stories you hear, I'm like, dude, that's fucking insane. When you go out here to a club in LA, Jesus Christ, you say hi to a girl and it's like, who the fuck are you? What do you drive? How much money? Where do you work? I had a friend of mine. He was a truck dispatcher. You know, like he basically got orders, hey, we need a delivery, and then he would call the truck drivers and try to negotiate, you know, get high money here or give low money to the truck drivers. That's what he did. He made a killing. But he's like, Robert, my job title has no sex appeal.
Yeah.
This is why I'm not getting girls. And I'm like, I'm sure there's many other reasons you're not getting girls, but, you know, you're right. There's no sex appeal, and that sex appeal is only required in big cities like Los Angeles and New York. And I think this is now, and I'm talking about pre-COVID. Now during COVID, you know, it's all the curtains have been fucking rolled back. Now you're seeing everything. You're like, dude, there's nothing here. It's very difficult. Yeah. You know, the only reason I'm here is because of the passion and love that I have for Los Angeles. And then if anything else, the riding in California is just so fucking amazing. I mean, I don't think there's anything like it. But there's no other reason to be here.
I mean, not right now, but, you know, going back to the women, it's like, yeah, they have so much more to offer. And it's kind of you can actually talk to girls out there without any preconceived notion of like what you do, who you are, who you know.
You can have a regular conversation.
Here, you can even have a regular conversation.
No.
It's all about like, you know,
Status.
how many followers you have, what do you do?
What's your social media?
Which table are you sitting at? Are you doing this like, you know, table service kind of bullshit? And it's like, okay, well, it was good talking to you for 2 minutes, and I felt like I just, you know, became retarded just from all the selfies you're doing while you're talking to me. It's like, who are you right now? You know, but it goes both ways. I think it's kind of the lifestyle, you know, like since we've both grown up here, to me, it doesn't even feel like how LA was when I grew up. You know, it was much more, to me, it felt like back then it was homegrown. Like you can ride your bike, have a conversation with your friends, do fun stuff, right? Like enjoy what California offers. Here it's about status, it's about money, it's about knowing who you know and what you've done and who you partied with and who, which celebrity you've taken a
Who
photo
you hang out with, etc. It's funny because I just interviewed. He used to be a motorcycle cop. Now he's a detective in SWAT in Ventura County. And I got to sit down with him and hear the stories of how to become a cop, what cops deal with, what motorcycle cops deal with. It's fucking amazing episode. It'll be released in a week, or from this podcast last week. But when he described growing up in the San Fernando Valley, he lived in Granada Hills. When he described that, the only word I can use to describe what he was saying, it was fucking romantic. Yeah. It was badass. It was, you could pick up a rock and throw it at any garage, and that garage had a motorcycle. We'd get together with the friends. There was a roller skating ring and ride there, and then you'd roll out to Malibu and put, suntan lotion, get a tan, and then you ride back freezing your ass off in the valley. Like it sounded so far-fetched. It's almost like now Cobra Kai. When they go back to the fucking 80s, you're like, dude, that was That's fucking cool. That's how it was. It was so fucking innocent. It was there wasn't like a crazy status. Mm-hmm. People weren't easily offended. Like these issues that everybody talks about, you see it more in the bigger cities than anywhere else. Everywhere else, it just seems like people are just living their own fucking life.
Well, we kind of lost our grit, if you know what I mean. I feel like LA back then was dirty, beautiful, sexy, kind of like a beach bum, beachcomber type of style where you can actually go to the beach and go to downtown LA and have different kind of like lifestyles, right? And without a care in the world. Whoever you are, you're just enjoying life. Yeah. Now it's just crazy how, we've kind of like been so into ourselves where we put this bubble around us, like how LA is supposed to be just the cool spot, sunshine every day. You get to, lay at the beach every day and just have this, kind of this like Instagram, profile, right? Yeah. Back then it was just, everyday life. You didn't need to post anything. You didn't need to tell anybody how you're living because that's how everybody lived. It's hard. It's hard growing up here. It's always been difficult. It's always been difficult. But now, it's kind of like you portray yourselves on social media, and you're just hoping for the likes, and hopefully someone, if someone's like envious of you because you're doing this kind of shit. Like, we're riding every Sunday. The rest of the world is cold and freezing, and we're 72 degrees, even though it's kind of cold right now. But that's kind of like the persona that we're trying to show everybody. But, being in Austin right now, man, I could care less what's going on in LA, right?
How is Austin? Never been.
Never been. You would love it. I think so, Austin, moving to Austin is not like me being the LA kid and like, it has to be the same. You can't compare LA with everything else. You got to be, if you're in Austin, you got to be a Texan. You got to do what they do. And honestly, they're having a lot more fun than we're doing, just because.
For sure. I was just listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and somebody just came on the podcast and says, "Hey, this is Texas, and I got a gift for you. And in Texas, I can give you a gun. Here you go." And he gave him a straight up fucking gun.
Yeah, as soon as I get my my Texas license, I can pretty much purchase anything I want and have it the same day. It's over the counter ammo. They actually have ammo over there, so it's not it's not scarce like here. Yeah, we're not paying $2 for a 9 or $2 to $3 for a 5.56 or 2.23. There, it's like it's still a little bit pricey just because of
Right, but there's access to it.
we have access to it. But Austin to me right now, you know, I've only been there for 2-3 months. I've been gone for a month now. I've made a lot of friends just because everyone who moved there kind of has the same mentality. They want to take away the bullshit that they left wherever they came from Chicago, New York, wherever, and they want to just live, and they just want to have fun. They want to bring their old life back.
Yeah.
And that's where pretty much everyone's congregating, and things are open, you know? Yes, we're still wearing the mask, but you have the option to
You could still sit in
eat
restaurants.
at dinner,
And,
you know, eat inside for dinner.
yeah.
Go to a comedy club, go to, live music. And there's a lot of outdoor stuff that you can do. You can go to town lake, you know, canoe, kayak, paddleboard. You can go fishing. You can go
fly
shooting.
to Cancun, 2-hour flight.
You can, yeah, that's
You can
so,
fly to Miami, 2-hour flight.
yeah.
You can do a bunch of shit.
Here it's like, oh, I wish how do you do that? I wish I was doing that. I wish I was there with you. I'm like, well, then go.
Yeah.
You know, and no one's really stopping you. And then they have this like notion of like everywhere else in the world, COVID is a pandemic, which yes, we're not denying that, but you can still go about your life, right?
Right, but not only that, California has the strictest laws and regulations, and it's not fucking helping. Like, our numbers are skyrocketing.
I think you guys are still number one, so it doesn't make any sense.
So whatever we're doing it wrong.
Doing it wrong. So whether you're staying at home or grabbing Starbucks or going to Walmart or going to Target, we're still getting infected somehow. So, you know, whatever we're doing or what we're not doing, it's kind of pointless, right? And we're not living our lives like how we should be.
Well, not only that, but by staying home or being so away from other people, our immune systems get weaker. The way your immune system gets stronger and better and thrives through these times is by being exposed to germs, is by going out, is by being outside, it's by exercising, it's by grabbing, it's by playing, it's by shaking hands. That's how your immune system gets stronger.
Dude, believe me, I've shaken and I've done a lot. I've been around a lot of different people. I mean, you know, I got back from Colombia last night, and I've been around a lot of people, and the funny thing is I actually had to get a COVID test right before I got on the plane, so they can approve me, blah, blah, blah.
So you had to do a COVID test in Colombia before you get on the plane?
Yeah, so, and I actually had to get a COVID test before to go there. So, you know, the regulations are strict, but they're not keeping everybody from staying at home, right?
No.
They're as more strict there as we are, but they have the option to go to dinner with friends. And if you see like the nightlife there, it's booming, man. Like everything is open. But they're all wearing masks and they're doing, you know,
they're doing the thing.
They're doing their thing, but there's an option, and I feel like LA doesn't give an option for us, as if we're like the kids that don't know any better,
right?
And our parents is just telling us to stay indoors. You're grounded for another X amount of months. However, you know, when the vaccine comes in, it's like, I'm a grown ass man. Like, let me make my choices.
Well, I mean, I know what you're saying. It's basically, if you're high risk, stay home. If you're not high risk, let's get back to normal.
Exactly.
Let's fucking move forward.
Exactly. And
I mean, the only other benefit that I see from this is everybody's being more hygienic. Everybody's washing their hands more because, you know, come on. How many times have we gone to the bathroom prior to this and you see some dude not washing his hand? You're like, dude, come on. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, so more people are being hygienic. But you're right. We shouldn't all be in trouble because there's certain people that are at higher risk.
Yeah, well, it just turns us into like hypochondriacs, where everything we do, you know, we wash our hands with like sanitary, you know, lotions and all that stuff, and it's like that's one thing, but you know, being cooped up in your home and not do anything will drive you emotionally mad.
Well,
right?
that's
aside
the worst
from your
thing.
physical, you know, your physical health, it's mental too. So I don't know how people are doing it.
Suicides are up. I mean, forget about what COVID has, you know, the death rate is for COVID. The suicides overall are huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking devastating.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, staying home is the wrong thing to do. One thing that they said is COVID, doesn't do good in sunlight, and it doesn't do good under UV. It doesn't do good under heat.
We got sun here every day, and talking about Joe Rogan, it's like, yeah, build your immune system, get some vitamin D, go out there and exercise. Like, no, our government's not telling us to go out there and improve your health. It's about
take vitamins.
It's about cowering in and just staying at home and preventing social communication with other people. It's like, you need that, you know. Like homeschool kids, they're weird.
Yeah.
Like, you go to public schools so you can kind of build your, your social
immune
skills.
system, social
immune
skills.
systems, like my parents would let us like play in the dirt and eat in the dirt and like do all this crap about it. And, we've been healthy kids just because of that. And then like our neighbor was super, super homeschooled, and they were super just kind of like, against germs and all this. And like, they're very sickly kids, they would like stay home even though they were homeschooled because they had more diseases, and they would get flus and colds. And it's like, I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now, is like, we're just going through the motions. Like, there's two different kinds of people out there right now. Is the ones that are staying home, watching Netflix, playing video games, doing whatever, trying to like pass the time. And then there's productive people that's trying to figure out how to better themselves, right? Whether they're unemployed or on what's it called, EDD, or what's it called, unemployment. There's people that's actually taking action. So going back to being resourceful, trying to figure out how to gain income through these drastic times. Those are the ones that I'm really pushing for. Like, that's me myself, is like, I don't want to just sit there and watch Netflix. I don't want to just watch, a whole season of like Buffy the Vampire, even though I love it. Like, that's the easiest way to do it.
Is that your shit?
That's my shit, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I like the old
Sarah
show.
Michelle Gellar, shout out to her, whoever, wherever she's at. Yeah, she was like my dream girl back then.
That's hilarious.
She was a badass chick, right? Like, just didn't take shit from nobody.
She was a fucking vampire slayer, bro.
She was a vampire slayer. Like, I feel like that's kind of where we're at. There's two different kinds of people, and the ones that are like moping around, complaining about and watching TV, trying to figure out when we can like live again. And then there's a second group where it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna figure it out, and just
and move forward.
Yeah.
The thing is with EDD and these fucking compensation programs is that I believe it handicaps people. People get used to it. It keeps you in a system. Like, when you start getting into that Section 8, EDD, fucking health insurance from the state, it really fucking handicaps people, because people start thinking like, oh, if I make a little bit more money, I won't get these benefits. So fuck it, I don't want to make that extra money.
Yeah.
And they stay in there. And I don't know what the agenda, it sounds kind of stupid to say that the government wants to keep you relying on them, but then that makes sense. The government wants, people to rely on them, and this goes back into all kinds of conversations, like, for example, the government wants you to report, your husband and put him to jail, or your girlfriend, or they want to take away your kids. Like, there's this weird fucking government conspiracy thing that it just kind of wants to divide everybody up, like completely. And I know it sounds a little strange, but I just seen it because I grew up in bad neighborhoods, and I would see it all the time. I would see a father getting arrested. I'd see children being taken away, being divided from their parents, being divided from the family. Other family members tried to grab them and they couldn't. And it's this dark, fucking fucked up thing. But I seen that system completely fail and ruin people's full potential.
Well, it's kind of the day and age now. It's like being a whistleblower is a good thing,
right?
Like the whole slogan of we're all in it together kind of like just makes
that
fun
sounds
of
so fucking communist.
It makes fun of like our whole society as Americans. You know, it's like I think America is about just keeping it to yourself, doing what what you need to do, strive for your goals and what this opportunity gives you. And now it's like we're all in it together. So that means we're gonna wall in our shit together, or we're gonna just want to be following the government because the government says so. So
Right.
you got to obey the rules, or we're gonna call you out.
And that happened in California. They were like, if you see a gathering of more than 5 people, call your local police. We are in this together.
That's crazy.
Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Why would you do that?
Yeah, and now we're
And it happens all the time. I hear it around this neighborhood. I hear it around
even
all
motorcycle
over.
riding. It's kind of the weirdest thing. Like we've been doing weekly group rides every Sunday now since December. Thank you, sir.
Which I want to talk about
Top
too.
me off. Yeah, so we've been doing that Sunday, and we're like, you know what? Forget, we're over this like waiting around. When are we closed? When are we open again? When can we, see our friends? We're just gonna put it out there. It's your choice. We're not forcing anybody to go out there and ride. And if you're riding, you're not, anywhere less than 6 feet in front of the next person, right?
Yeah.
Because you got helmets on, you got bikes,
Gloves.
you got all that to kind of prevent any stuff that's going to be cross-contaminating you and stuff. And it's been going well. Like there's people out there that's just been bored out of their mind. It's like, and they're like, wait, you can do this? We can go out and ride? I'm like, yeah, well, why don't you?
I remember in the beginning, like the first few rides I was on, it was just so weird because it was probably like a month that everybody stopped riding.
Yeah.
And then it was like, when you did it, it's like, oh, fuck, do we hug? Do we not hug?
Yeah.
High fives, no high
Fist
fives.
bump, elbow bump,
yeah,
do all
like,
this.
I don't know. Take off helmets, don't take off
Yeah.
helmets. It was so fucking crazy.
And now, every Sunday we have a pretty much a strong group of riders every Sunday, about 30 to 40 on average. On a big day, a big weekend, it's probably up to 70, 80. And so there are people that's over it, and there are like-minded riders out there, or just normal people that want some kind of activity to be done, but no one's really wanting to be the first person to initiate, right? Everyone's kind of watching. And so I get, the big motorcycle events out there, they want to be precautious about bringing, X amount of thousands of people into a motorcycle event. But it's like somebody's got to start it, and this whole vaccine thing, great. Us being, our age, we're not even supposed to be. We're not even supposed to get it, or we're not supposed to take our vaccines just because we're not we're low risk.
Yeah, but remember, that's not the problem. The problem is that people like you and me can get it, not know we have it, and it infects other people, and there's other people that it gets really bad. That's the big issue. The whole issue of the distances. Again, I had it a couple months back.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I had one night that I had chills.
Yeah.
And when I really realized, like, I had such bad chills, I woke up like at 2 a.m. chills. It was so cold. I went to the kitchen, old school, turned on the stove, heated up, got a soup. I fucking ate, warmed up. And then when I got back to bed an hour later, I realized the window was fucking open. It was just a cold night. So I'm like, was it chills or was it, it was probably a mixture of both, realistically. But that's not the problem. The problem is 2 weeks prior to that and 2 weeks after that, definitely I had something. And there's certain people that it fucks up so bad that, that's what we're trying to protect.
Yeah.
But again.
No comment on that. But, it's like, okay. It's.
You don't think people can get infected?
The whole, you don't know if you have it or not. What are the statistics on it? Like, let's say, I don't know how many people will get tested and get COVID. And then let's say, they tested positive. Yeah. And they don't see the effects of it until 2 weeks later, and then they get the colds and the hot flashes. But I don't know. It just sounds so kind of like a propaganda of like you might be infected and you might infect people, but you don't have the symptoms.
You see,
so that lets you think, okay, well, I'm going to do my due diligence of stay at home. So just make sure that I don't, infect anybody, but I don't know if I have it or not. Right.
Right. Well, the whole point would be, and I see what you're saying, but the whole point would be, test yourself. And if you test positive, then yeah, quarantine yourself for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. And I understand what you're saying and your point of view, because you have been living life regularly. You have been traveling. You've been jumping on planes. You're like, dude, it's not that fucking bad. Because I had a Cancun trip like 3 months ago, and I was like, man, flying on a plane isn't bad. Everybody's spaced out. Everybody's taking their precautions. Once you get to Mexico, everybody has their mask. You jump in a taxi, you drive to wherever you're going to, and there's nightlife. And same thing, people are using masks. People are keeping their distance. Like things are still the same, just with a mask.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still living my life and doing what I want to do, and I'll be cautious. I don't walk around in the store without a mask. I'll respect people's health and all that.
Space.
Yeah. But
what do you disagree with? I got to pick your brain.
Oh man, I don't know. So that's actually one of the reasons why I moved to Austin is like I turned off all my social media, kind of like politics and all that. Anything negative. I don't watch the news anymore. I don't follow politics. I don't know. I don't even know who the president is really. Like if you think about it, like if it's Biden or whatever. Like I just heard they're trying to impeach Trump. I'm like, isn't Trump out of the, is he not the president anymore? He's like, oh, yeah, he isn't, but we're still trying to impeach him. I'm like, okay. All right, well, good luck with that. And people will dwell on that. And me, I'm in Colombia sipping on this like, I think it's a wine. It's called Ron, R-O-N.
No, it's rum. It's rum.
Is it rum?
Yeah, rum.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We got to bring some of that shit in California.
Did you try what's it called? Cristal aguardiente?
No.
Oh man, this shit's called crazy water.
Oh, okay. I had crazy water.
It tastes like black licorice.
Yeah, I had crazy water.
Yeah. They call it fucking crazy water. That shit is, you get it for like $5 a bottle. It's basically,
everything's so affordable over there.
It's so fucking cheap.
Yeah.
What part of Colombia were you in?
I flew into Medellin. And went to Bogota. And went all over the place. Went south, went camping down south.
Did you do any ayahuasca trips out there?
We had no time, and if we did, I would have stayed a little bit longer.
I'm sure.
I'm actually planning to go back in June just because I linked up with a friend there, and I want to go see her again.
What's her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, but it's living the life. It's like, you got to take the risk, it's like, I know we're in a pandemic, but you can die anytime.
My mother would always say the only requirement to die is to be alive.
Yeah.
Because how many times would you hear, drive-by shooting, mother breastfeeding baby, bullet escapes, kill mother and child. Anything. You could just die, or you hear the person that's never smoked and is a professional athlete and a runner, and they get lung cancer and die. The only requirement to die is to be alive.
Well, I definitely lived it. I lived it up in Colombia while I was there, and it's been fun. I did everything that you shouldn't have done, and
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, and I lived the day to talk about it.
I think I've said this story a few times on here, but fuck it. There was the best thing I ever read. There was an article I read maybe 8 years ago, 5 or 8 years ago, I don't even remember. This guy wrote a suicide letter. He wasn't happy. He was living in the States. I don't even know where he was from. But anyways, he was living in the States. He wrote a suicide letter. He says, this is it. I don't have a girlfriend. I can't, all I do is work. I've saved up money, and it's gotten me nowhere. I'm fucking completely depressed. I'm going to take my life. Something, it's just horrible. The whole thing was he was going to Mexico to just kill himself. Okay. He goes to Mexico. This guy tries cocaine, fucks hookers, drinks, get drunk. He had so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
He had so much fun that he decided he didn't want to die. He came back to live, And now it's like a tradition that he does, you know, like once a year or once every 2 years.
So he tried to kill himself by doing some hookers and blow.
By doing blow and hookers, yeah.
I guess
and
I was
drinking.
just trying to kill myself in Colombia too. I don't know.
You know, but it's funny because you start thinking about how strict and like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, and how difficult it is, and how, you know, like the relationships, everything. It just seems everything's so complex. And when you go somewhere else, it's like, fuck, people are really living their life. They're just, you know, doing the best they can.
Yeah.
I guess what it really sucks is, I guess the trade is economy. You know, like in Colombia or South America or anywhere around the world, it's harder to make money, you know, compared to the U.S. U.S., you know, you can get a job pretty easy if you want. I mean, in the U.S., if you want to make money, there's money. There's money laying around the floor.
Opportunities, man.
Everywhere.
So many.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest difference. But if you look at people's lifestyles of how they live outside of the U.S., it's fucking amazing.
No, it's crazy. So I mean, you know,
Did it feel safe?
Yeah.
In Colombia? Yeah.
We felt really. So I went there with a buddy. I told a group of guys that were kind of like connected through WhatsApp or texting. So we kind of like, it's kind of a group of guys where it's like, hey, we're going to go ride. Anybody wants to show up, blah, blah, blah. So it's all internal. It's like very small. But I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a walkabout. I'm trying to figure out where I want to go. Thailand, you know, Brazil, Argentina, wherever.
You were in Brazil too?
I was going to Brazil. But my buddy that was in Colombia at that time, so he walked out. He's like, fuck LA, I'm going to Colombia. I'm going to go see about a girl. And he left in October, just barely came back a couple weeks ago. And he's like, you gotta come to Colombia. You know, it's amazing here, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't know anything about Colombia. I feel like it's dangerous. It's humid, blah. It's like, no, dude, just come.
It's like, dangerous and humid.
Humid. That's what I thought. Yeah. And I was like, there's no interest. I don't know anything about Colombia. Why the fuck should I go? I just want like warmer weather, girls, you know, the beach, but you know, all just the opposite of what we're going through right now. And he's like, just go. So I'm like, all right, let's go. No expectations, nothing. I didn't read up on anything about Colombia, only knowing that there's going to be blow women and a lot of Pablo Escobar, you know, stories and stuff like that. When we landed, it just, this weird like sensation just came across me, and I'm like, all right, well, let's get a beer, you know, let's go grab a beer. And then we started walking around. They dropped us off in this area that's kind of touristy. Grabbed a drink and just started like looking around, and people were just, it had this weird calm about it, you know, and people were just living their lives, you know, having lunch, whatever. And ever since, from that day until I got back, it's just been kind of life changing. You know, it's like that next chapter where you needed that walkabout to kind of move to your next goal in your life, right? You know, and the last year that we've been going through, I feel like everyone's been there. They put their lives on pause, and I just never could I could never accept that. I just wanted something more. I wanted to just like live and get out of California. So that's what I did. I moved to, you know, I decided I wanted to get out of California, moved out, went to Austin in 2 weeks, and just, you know, see what Austin has to offer. It's been great. It's been, you know, it's been booming.
Rents are cheaper and stuff.
Rents are cheaper, yeah, and gas is cheaper. I mean, insurance, everything. People are friendly. You can have a drink with somebody, you know, at a bar and just talk. You know, you can meet girls, all that good stuff. Same thing in Colombia. It's like people are just kind there. You know, there's a lot of panhandlers in that section because it's very touristy. And so we're at lunch, right? And people are coming at us all the time, and you see a manager seeing that we're being bombarded with all these people, thinking that they're gonna like, hey, get the fuck out of here. You know, you're ruining these guys' experience. No, she came up to this old lady and just like put her arms around her and like walked her out, you know, just saying, you know, like, hey, how you doing? You know, do you need anything? And she's like selling me like a 2-cent chiclets kind of thing, like just a piece of gum. And so she gave her like, you know, whatever change she had, and like just was courteous to her, you know, even though she's like high status, she's a manager and she runs this business. And then this poor woman,
amazing.
you know, like that was life changing to me, where it's like, why can't us, you know, in California do that, where forget about the status, just be kind to one another. Don't
100%.
forget, you know, don't even think about what you believe in, what politics, what, you know, whatever you're about. You don't need to, I don't think you need to like wave a flag, you know, wave a huge flag about it, just to say you're a good person.
Yeah.
Just take the action and be kind to another person.
Just go the extra step. Fuck it. You're going to be stuck in this building for 8 hours anyways. Yeah. Might as well be a good fucking person. When I was in Colombia, sorry, but I want to throw this in because it's exactly what you're saying. When I was in Colombia, I was in Cali, and an experience that I had like that is that I was having drinks. I smoked my last cigarette, and then, you know, I tell one of the waitresses, one of the girls, I go, you know, excuse me, do you sell cigarettes here? And she's like, we don't have cigarettes here, but about 3 blocks away, I can get you the cigarettes. And I was like, I don't want you to walk 3 blocks away. And she's like, no, I'll get you the cigarettes. It's not a problem. And I was like, no, there's no fucking way. Like, don't do it. Long story short, she left. She bought 4 different packs of cigarettes because I didn't tell her what I was smoking. Mm-hmm. And she brought them all. She goes, here you go. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This would never happen. She left her job and walked fucking 3-4 blocks and brought me cigarettes. Yeah. And that's just something you never experience, you know, like in many places, you know. I
think it's just humanity in general. They understand that. It's not about categorizing yourself.
There's no ego.
And here, you know, like even like on, I was briefly on these dating apps, right? And they're already like telling their likes and dislikes. It's about if you're not vegan, walk away or swipe left. If you're not Biden lover, swipe left. If you're not about Black Lives Matter, swipe left. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like you're on a dating website or a dating app, and you're already just kind of like telling everybody this is who I'm about because this is the social norm nowadays, right? Like it's like if you don't believe in this, go fuck yourself. You're evil. You're racist. You're whatever. There, it's like there's none of that crap where you're just kind to one another. Doesn't matter what they think, what they believe in. That's another human being right there in front of you, and you just have a conversation. You know,
I was talking to Bad Wolf about outside of the U.S.
That was great,
but there was parts. You know what? That was the only one. I'm sorry, brother. That was the only one that I kind of edited. You know, I've never edited a podcast. I kind of edited that one because it just, there was some parts. We were just talking about death for 10 minutes. And then we were talking about fucking colors. And then we were talking about, you know, all kinds of crazy shit. And, you know, I don't know if I edited this part out, but one of the things we talked about was outside of the U.S., overall, not 100%, but overall, 90% outside of the U.S., there is no colors. Mm-mm. There is no fucking brown, black, white, nothing. You know, it just doesn't exist. Everybody treats everybody the same and equal, and everybody gets along, you know. And same thing. Look, here goes another conflict issue right now. Same thing. You know, black folks in the United States are very different than black folks outside of the United States. Yeah. Very different, you know, like very, very mellow outside. You know, in Cuba, you know, where my family's from, there's no difference. There's zero fucking difference.
I've never felt any safer going through Old Havana than I felt safer you were there.
In Cuba too.
Yeah, I felt safer there than going to downtown LA on off night where, you know, nobody's around. Like I can walk through those towns.
No problem. I remember walking down Havana, and I had a buddy of mine for the first time there. And we're walking, and this guy approaches us, and he starts telling me, like, look, this is the Bacardi building in 1987, and 1887, blah, 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 and this used to be this and that. Anyways, the guy talked, like, fucking 10, 15 minutes, and I was like, yo, like, Here's $20. Kick rocks. He goes, I don't want your money, bro. I was just trying to share the information. Peace. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, just very nice people. I've walked at 3 a.m, in Cuba after leaving a club with my girl and, wearing a watch, gold chain, no fucking problem. Just walking the street. Nobody. Kids are out for some strange reason. Everybody's fucking happy. It's not for some strange reason. It's that a lot of places don't have air conditioning. Yeah. So a lot of people go out, just to get some fucking air. They go and talk, cheese may. They just communicate. But I overall, many places you go to, it's just very safe and friendly and even family oriented, which I've talked about many times, many places.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm planning to be in Pakistan in a couple weeks for business. And people are like, well, what the fuck are you doing?
Watch out, bro. They're going to chop your head off.
Yeah. I mean, that's a serious place. And my old business partner, who's French, would actually hire a couple bodyguards with him from the hotel to the factories, which I'll probably hire, do the same thing. But I don't know. It's like you watching the news here. There's always murders. There's always stabbings and killings and all that stuff. And so it makes you portray life as a violent world, which it is, but it's not everything, You can still meet a lot of good people. I mean, we were in the middle of the jungle in Colombia with a flat tire, and locals would ride by with their bikes, and every one of them would stop and honk their horn and just kind of check in on us if we needed help.
That's crazy.
And we had stuff around us, and they didn't care about that. They just wanted to make sure, like, hey, can you get through this jungle, being okay? And it's like that's kind of like, I feel like that's humanity we've missed.
Well, because that's how humanity was throughout the history of man. If somebody was on the side of the road or somebody was abandoned, it was life-threatening. And that you counted on somebody on stopping and checking in. Yeah. Hey, are you okay? Do you need water? Do you need food? Do you need transportation? This, that. And again, in the United States, it's like people divide people up, even in the sense of you can't even call a friend to change your tire if you're on the side of the road. They want you to call AAA. They want you to call this. They want you to rely on the system and not on friends or strangers. And I've talked about this a million times. People are like, don't trust strangers. Be careful with strangers. Strangers are going to fuck you, this, that. I'll tell you, once again, the changing tire. I think I can get a stranger to help me change a tire faster than I get a friend to change a tire, because they're going to say, my wife, my kids, my work, I can't do it. You're too far. You're on the other side of the city. There's always these excuses that people tell you that versus, hey, can I get a hand? Yeah, of course. You don't know how to change a tire? No, I do. Oh, yeah, cool. Haha, whatever the case is. Yeah. But that's how humans are. Shout out to Victoria. She posted a meme that was so fucking funny. She posted like an old Street Fighter, the Nintendo game, Street Fighter. Remember when everybody's like fighting and there's somebody has a crowbar and you're like fighting 10 different people, and it's
the first one,
yeah, the first one. She's all, this is what the Citizen app looks like. It's true. Like there's just shooting here, stabbing there. That Citizen app's fucking crazy, man.
And then there's another app where it's like Next Door or something.
Yeah, that one annoys me, but what about it?
It's same thing. It's like
Cat lost, and
it's like just privileged people where it's like, did you see that black guy walk past our neighborhood like 2 times just looking around? And does anybody know this guy? It's like, who the fuck? Like, who cares? Who cares? Like, it's about worrying about nothing, and it's not living your life. You're kind of like just,
you have nothing to worry about that you're worried about nothing.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
I think so. I got it. Yeah. I saw it through your eyes. So I was like,
you have nothing to worry. Like their life is great. There's nothing else to do but to look out your fucking window and be like, hey, that's a different mailman. Why did they change the mailman? Conspiracy or whatever the case is.
Yeah, I think everyone turned into voyeurs nowadays, where they're just watching other people just to make sure nothing bad goes, happens, kind of thing. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, anyways, like, what were you talking about? Colombia or
traveling people. Let's talk about those travels. So you ride motorcycles in every place you go to?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you do that? You usually rent it and you go with the
Rent it.
company or
We
privately?
find out. We figure out, anyone that's renting. We get connected with the locals there. So
Don't judge.
we we linked up with a cool brand that's out there called La
Omar?
Rufina. Hell yeah. I know it's like 12 o'clock right now, but
At
I'm still in
night.
Colombian
At
time.
night.
I'm still in Colombian time right now. But yeah, it's La Rufina in Colombia. They got something special going on there, and they're kind of the first motorcycle brand to kind of establish the whole Americana feel to it. It's very hipster,
Yeah.
but it's a restaurant. They serve liquor, and it's a good ambiance. It kind of oversees the city. It's above this hill, but they got a cool group of motorcycle community there. So on any given day, you have an array of different kind of bikes. So it's not like just cafe racers, or it's not just kind of adventure bikes. It's everything from Royal Enfields to KTM's to BMWs. Like I've never seen any more like brand new bikes out there than anywhere else. But
Really?
yeah, it's really interesting. So linked up with those guys, planning to do a solid, hopefully I can do it, a 3-month trip with those guys in November. So from
All South America?
all of South America, starting in Colombia, going down all the way down to Argentina, like the tip of Argentina. And so I got friends in Argentina. Hopefully we can link up with them as well. But they see us Americans like we have it all, but at the same time they're kind of like sad for us because we don't want to experience everything. We want that kind of like luxury resort kind of like vacation where everything's planned for.
Right.
So when we went to Colombia, we didn't plan anything. We had no hotels, nothing. We didn't know where we were going to stay. We literally booked hostels, hotels, places, rented bikes on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the way to travel,
On the fly.
on the fly. And we met so many amazing people there. Not just other tourists. It's all locals that we spoke to and try to figure out like, what they're about, how to like approach women. And approaching women there is a little bit difficult too. It's you gotta swoon them. You really gotta try. Here it's like a text where it's like, hey, you want to, you're cute on Instagram. You want to go hang out? And it's like, oh, sure. There, it's a whole like
Process.
courtmanship, right?
Yeah.
You got to be a man, and like you got to really get them to like you, and like show them that you're something else or something more than just like some gringo that's coming, passing through.
Like a fucking caveman.
And you just
Hulk
do your
smash.
deed, and then you're
Like, no Hulk smash.
you're out. And
Right.
so, yeah, there was this like one girl. I was like, if she told me to like stay another week or a month, I'd definitely do it. Just because I got something more out of her, rather than just like
Well, they offer more. It's what I was talking about in the beginning. The experience, the treatment,
yeah.
the respect, man, woman, man.
Yeah, you're a man and you're a woman, and you build on something, not just like a casual fuck or a casual like social more out of you. And so that was surprising.
They want the experience.
They want the experience. They want to be treated like a lady, and it's like I feel like a lot of men nowadays. It's about status, right? You kind of present yourself like a resume, and like, this is what I've done, and this is what I know. So that's why I'm attractive.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, Colombia, and I kind of did some research on this. Colombian women are very interesting because this is my theory. This is my thought why Colombia is the way it is. The women are the way they are is because, when Pablo Escobar was around and many narcos of that status were around, they hired thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and they put a lot of money into the villages, and there was a lot of money circulating through the town. And these women would get spoiled. These women, like if there was somebody working for Pablo or one of his hitmen or whatever the case is, they were buying gift baskets, and these gift baskets weren't, the American gift baskets that you pay $100 and it has like a teddy bear and shit. Yeah. These gift baskets were like fucking, perfumes from France. These gift baskets had jewelry, pearls, gold. So they were very, very, very spoiled. The women were they were getting treated amazingly. The only issue that they ran into back then is the machismo, because there was so much machismo. Once they were in a relationship, they'd get mistreated, they'd get cheated on, and they didn't like that. So this gave them how I should be getting treated and what I don't like. Now, as the women have evolved over time, it's, wow, leverage. We like this.
Yep.
We don't like that. And it's a fucking pussy world. Whoever has the pussy controls. And that's, now they want the best of the best. They want to be treated nice. They want to be treated with class. They want to go to they want to have nice experiences. And it really changed up. And this is also why, going back to when, the Narcos and Pablo Escobar, this is another reason why Colombia got so dangerous, because there was a time where people would hold a gun for Pablo Escobar, and it was the 10th guy in line, whatever, that never even met Pablo. And this guy would make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month just to hold a gun. Well, when the Narcos, regime or whatever you want to call it, was over, now these guys didn't know anything else. For 10 years, all they did was hold a gun, and they were making $5,000 to $10,000. Now they have no income.
Yeah.
So what did they start doing? They started kidnapping. They started fucking threatening people. They started robbing people. There was a point in the 90s and even 2000s that Colombia was so fucking dangerous to visit that people didn't want to go there because, cars wouldn't even stop at stoplights. They were like, we're going to get fucking robbed. Like, they would just take the stoplight. And it was like, fuck. Yeah. It was like, you either take the stoplight and hope no car hits you, or you stop and you get fucking robbed.
Yeah.
So the history there is very, very interesting, but that explains what you're saying. You have man, you have woman. The woman wants a good experience, and she wants to be spoiled, and she wants to be treated like a lady, and the American way. I don't want to bag on America too much, but we do limit ourselves because America has so many beautiful cities and places to see that we don't even see and experience. We're just all in our own community.
Absolutely.
If you're in Austin, you're only in Austin. If you're in LA, you're only in LA. If you're in New York, you're only in New York. And we have to really fucking explore America because America is a beautiful fucking country too.
Absolutely.
We just don't want to step out of our comfort zone.
That's exactly it. No one wants to go out, and you build on your home, you build on the stuff that you own, right? And it's like
we own too much shit.
It hinders you from moving or experiencing other things. Like, oh well, I can't leave this because I have a mortgage or I have a rent or I have car payments to make. And it's like I literally simplified everything for myself, and
you dumbed it down.
Know what I wanted, know what I just needed, and now I'm kind of just doing it.
Yeah.
I have, many set goals for myself, but it's, I guess, stuff and necessities, and stuff that we purchase without thinking is not what I'm about right now. It's about experiencing, I guess, life. I'm not married, no kids. I'd like to have that, but before then, I'd love to travel and experience other things. And who knows, I can get married, in a different country or be living in a different country. And to me, that's exciting for me. It's not like I'm looking to find some girl, somewhere in Brentwood or somewhere in Austin, and hopefully we can make it work. And there's so much more noise and distractions for us. It's like, well, I'm going to take that out of the equation. I'm going to live my life. And if it happens, it happens. But I'm still enjoying what I do. And so far, so good. I'm kind of just enjoying my time right now.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Yeah. Like I said, my best friend Cash, he's now in Playa del Carmen, and he's looking for a girl, and he found the girl that's from Argentina, and he fucking cares about her, and he likes her, and she's smart and intellectual and plays a bunch of instruments and has a master's and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And the criterias are all there, and he's just fucking stoked, but he took that step It's funny because when he started making money, he was like, Robert, again, he was like in the Palm Springs, Palm Desert area. He's like, I'm going to get a 5-bedroom house and get a Range Rover and a big screen TV, and that's going to be the life.
That's end game.
I'm like, dude, please don't do that. Please, I beg you. Like, get the fuck out, bro. Travel, explore, see, like please. And now seeing the life that he lives, if I compare it, I'm like, fuck, I got too much shit. Like I've really locked myself in where I'm like, fuck, I can't move to Austin right now. I can't move to Miami right now. I can't travel right now. And if I travel, I should only go for like 3-4 days because I can't be away from my shit and the bills and the responsibilities and blah blah blah. It just adds up, and it's not a good way. We all fall into this trap too easy.
Yeah, and it's cool for, if people want that, I'm not downplaying it. I'm not knocking it down. Hey, if that makes you happy and that feels like that's where you need to be, by all means, enjoy your life. But that's the point. It's like, are you really happy with what you have? Is this, all the things that you own, does that make you happy in the world?
Yeah.
Or are you still longing for something? Right? Is this relationship making you happy, or is it just because you're going through the motions and it's better to be alone? Or is it worse to be by yourself than to be in this relationship that you're not, you're so about?
Right.
And most people don't see outside of that. I feel like there's a lot of things. Of course, there's when you change lifestyles, you change your whole geographical, presence and from one place to another and not knowing anybody. It's hard. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But you got to go through it to see the end game, or to see the light and to see this kind of new chapter about yourself. And it makes you a lot stronger rather than just being the same kind of predicament, right? This the whole cubicle kind of thing where it's like, well, it's safe. I know I'm going to be here the next day. It's a comfort zone.
Right.
Or am I going to risk everything and not know what's over the hill, and hopefully I'll be happy, or am I just going to be miserable and wish that I had this girl back, or hit this job back, or this lifestyle and these friends? And a lot of my friends right now are contemplating that. They see me in Austin and they're like, they're checking in. They're like, how's Austin? Is it okay? Is it cool? I'm like, yeah. It's like, Austin didn't change me. Being in Austin or traveling doesn't change me. It's about, preparing yourself for the worst and overcoming it.
Yeah. You grow.
It's about growth. Exactly. It's knowing that you're not happy with the situation you're at now, and you want change, so you take action. But with every action, there's kind of a restart. And that's, to me, I think that's beautiful. Like, to restart everything and start something new, and you can do whatever you want. To me, that's exciting.
Yeah, Control Alt Delete.
But for most people, it's tough, man. It's
well, this is why a lot of people stay in shitty relationships. Because they don't want the change. They're comfortable. They're like, fuck, I don't want to put myself out there again. I don't want to get my heart broken. And then you get in this, you see people get in these shitty, relationships, and sometimes it's even abusive. Sometimes, and it doesn't have to be physically abusive. It's mentally abusive, and it just drains you out so fucking much that you feel like there's no other way. And then you just kind of fucking live your life. You tune out, and you drift.
And then, 20 years later, 30 years later, and you look back and you're like, man.
Fuck, man. Like, what did I do?
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've been married once, and I was in that fast lane of, just simplicity. Everything's just catered. Everything's just perfect, right? We grew up in Orange County together. Like, the lifestyle was just easy. Family gatherings every year, big parties, all that stuff. And for 10 years, I was with her and her family. It was great, but at the same time, it was just so redundant.
Yeah.
I wanted something more, and so I started my own business. First, I was corporate, and I just was not happy, and she wanted me in that kind of like that state, because everything to her, it was just secure, and like things were safe. She never wanted to venture out. Like, she never wanted to travel with me. you know.
Yeah.
Like she didn't even want to go to Paris with him because it was scary. Like who turns down Paris?
A lot. Bro,
He turns it down 3 times actually. Like
I swear to God, I called Bank of America or Capital One before I was traveling to Paris, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll be traveling to Paris. You know, I want to make sure my card works." They're all Paris where? And I was like, "What? Like Paris, France? Oh, is that like in the U.S.?" I go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like,
no, Paris, California. Yeah.
Well, there is a Paris, California. Yeah, but no, this woman had no idea I was talking about Paris, France. So there's people that don't even know, like, you know, let alone make the decision to go and turn it down 3 times.
So that's a crazy part, and you know, I mean that's where I'm at. I'm traveling. I'm doing what I want to do.
What was the breaking point in that relationship?
Just starting my own business. She never supported me on that, and I was like, really? Like this is our own thing. We can actually, you know, make a living and be you know, free of like the 9 to 5, right? You know, go wherever we want, do whatever we want to do, work hard with the business. She just thought it was too crazy. It was just too out of the box. And so
What nationality, may I ask?
White.
Yeah.
She was European
European white or American white? Yeah.
She was European white. So
That's so weird. I would never expect that.
yeah, so we were like the very juxtaposed, very different, you know. And so her family's very the Orange County family, the typical, you know, Newport Beach, Huntington.
Yeah.
You know, we have what's it called, the clubs and the, you know, the country clubs.
Social, yeah.
So, you know, all that good stuff. And yeah, it was fun. But I grew up in Orange County, and that was kind of like the same old stuff, you know. 4th of July, we'd be Newport Beach, whatever. But just traveling to her was scary.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like Colombia, or I'm not talking about like
No, you're talking about Paris.
Talking about Paris. I'm talking about London, and she's like, no,
Not for me.
no interest. And so, you know, we parted ways, and it was tough. And I'm here now, and she's still in Newport Beach, living the Orange County lifestyle, which she loves, and you know, I wish her the best. But then you know, you meet so many different people out there, you know, with like-minded, you know, ideals and desires in life. It's like it's crazy not to
travel and explore and see, you know, and experience and fucking be part of it. It's
I've never heard anybody travel or go somewhere else and say like, yeah, I'll never travel again.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing I could ever do.
Yeah, it was like a meme that I read. I've never heard anybody go to the gym and say, I regretted working out today. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and you know, you wake up in the morning, or you're going to the gym and you hate it. You're dreading the workout, but once you've done it, you feel good, and you feel like
afterwards you're fucking happy.
But not everybody can take that risk. So it's kind of it's a weird moment in life where you take 2 different paths, with the easy life and the hard path, but you get a lot out of it, you know, like kind of riding, you know, you're not just waiting for the destination. It's the ride itself.
It's a journey.
You're enjoying. So
yeah, some of my favorite trips, and you mentioned that some of my favorite trips were the ones that were like the least planned. Yeah. You know, like I wanted to take my girl to Cuba for so long, and she made so many excuses. She loves traveling. She's all about it. But for some reason, she was just making excuses. You know, like, oh, no, not today, not this, not that. And one time we were in Miami, and I just bought the tickets, and we went. I pretty much kind of like just forced her to do it, kidnapped her, right? Yeah. It's by far her favorite country she's ever been to.
Cuba.
You know, yeah. By far her favorite country.
Where did I go? Varango?
Varadero, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Varadero. Beautiful. Did you go to Pinar del Rio?
I don't remember.
Those are the jungles. Those are the jungles where they make the fucking the Cuban coffee, the cigars, the rum. You go horseback riding. It's just farmlands and mountains. It's just these mountains look like I have a picture I'll show you later. These mountains look like fucking King Kong would live there or some shit. Yeah. You know, the water is fucking amazing. You know, like they say in Hawaii's beautiful. But they say in Hawaii, when you go underwater, the sea life, it's dead. There's been so much hunting for so many fucking years. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
You go to Cuba, like you jump. There's a waterfall that you jump off, and when you land inside the water, there's thousands of fish flying, fucking swimming around you. You're like, what the fuck? You're just fucking. This is a trip. You know, the people. It's weird. The way I describe it is, it's a Caribbean island with European buildings and a bunch of fucking classic American cars.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking
With
cool is
Russian
that?
engines in it.
With Russian engines and Hyundai engines and Chinese engines, and you don't even know how the fuck they're running, but they look fucking amazing. They look outstanding. And I mean, again, you have Caribbean island and then tropical weather. You know, you eat in people's houses. You know, like you fucking go and then there's a person's house and the mom's there and the sister's there and the brother's there and everybody's all fucking clean. And it's just, what year did you go?
2016.
Okay, so 2016, there was no Wi-Fi, there was no Facebook, there was no was there Wi-Fi?
Just recently, so yeah, it was
2017, 18 is when they started.
Okay, maybe at that time, but no, 2016, because I remember I was in Veradero.
Yeah.
In a family's home, because the person I was staying with in Old Havana, she's like, "Oh, you want to go there? Okay, well, I have a cousin or whatever. You can stay with him." So I stayed with a family.
Nice.
And I was watching the inauguration. I think Trump's inauguration in their home. So it's 16,
So
right?
it had to be 16, yeah.
So it was very surreal to me. I was like, I'm in someone's home in Cuba watching their inauguration with a family that I have no idea, that barely spoke English.
Nobody speaks
but
English.
They welcomed me.
Yeah.
And they were like pointing at the TV, like, "Oh, this is you. This is your president."
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I know. I can see. But it was kind of just surreal that I'm like in the middle of nowhere, not knowing anybody, but I'm having dinner with these folks, right? And just enjoying. Like, they didn't want anything out of me. You know, they
legitimately
they
don't
weren't
want
expecting anything. You know, I paid for my room, all that stuff, but they weren't expecting, like, as if, you know, a person here in California are expecting. It's like, who do you know, how I can progress my career through you? You know, everybody wants something.
Everybody, but there they don't,
contempt.
Especially when it comes to money. They can't even use it. Like, now it's a little bit different. Now they can use it, but there's no stores they can go and use the money. They would rather take your shoes or a pair of pants or a fucking t-shirt or a hat or something that they can use or wear.
Yeah, I think I traded a t-shirt for a this thing that they had. It was like a Cuban flag that had a motorcycle with it. I'm
nice.
Like, I like it. It's like, "Oh, you take it, just take it." I'm like, no, I want to buy it. It's like, no, it's free. I'm like, "Well, what do you want? Can I barter?" You know, like, it was like a trade, you know. So we traded things, you know, their family possession with my stuff that I had, and they didn't want $20. They wanted something that's like, okay, this is from me to you, and it's a gift, you know. And so it was definitely you know, eye opening to me. Yeah, when I was there, they recently had Wi-Fi. And the only place you can actually...
In the hotels?
Yeah, so the only place you can actually have it was in hotels or in parks. I don't know if you know.
Well, the parks I saw in 17, 18. That's what's weird.
So they had the parks, and I guess at that time, they've only had cell phones for only a year. Smartphones for a year.
Yeah.
So... You know, and this is a country without, like, cable TV, without technology. But at night, you know, I had to, like, check my emails and all that stuff. So I'd go to the parks, get the SIM card, whatever I needed to do. And I'd go to the park, and it's like all these kids, right? And
they're all out.
The park is dark, and you just see iPhones, or not iPhones, but smartphone lights, screens. And these kids are just, like, lined up on the curb, just like face down, just either texting or Facebook or whatever. I'm like, oh no, it's started. You know, like, next thing is gonna happen is like having a McDonald's in Cuba, and then they're done for.
That's the other thing that I like about Cuba is that you don't see any American companies.
No,
you know, everywhere I've been to. I mean, I've been to India by the slum.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the slum and you're like, oh my God, and people live like this and this is crazy, but they're happy. What a great experience. I'm happy I get to see this, blah, 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 blah. You're walking through shitty fucking, like there's not even a sidewalk, and the sidewalk's all destructive.
Itself.
And the smells and the humidity, and it's fucking crazy. And all of a sudden you see a door with gold handles, and you open it up and you're inside of a fucking mall, and there's Zara and fucking, Louis Vuitton. And you're like, what the fuck? Just a block away is like slum. And then a block away, there's this. And you see it everywhere, no matter where you go, China, anywhere you go, Russia. There's this American influence, which fuck it, good, America. But to get away from that and not see a Hilton and not see a KFC or a Taco Bell or fucking anything like that is also a great experience that I think
not be able to actually look at your phone every 5 minutes.
Right, because it's not even working properly, And if it works, it's like, what, $5 a minute or something?
Yeah, and so, no, I love Cuba. I mean, just the people itself, too, is just, the experience was great.
Music, the Buena Vista Social Club, the tradition. They have, did you go to the Cañonazo where they do the cannon every night?
Yeah.
So
that corner.
So from like the 1800s, every night at 9 o'clock, they do this whole show where everybody's in uniform.
The dancers would be there.
Dancers. You go and they shoot the cannon at 9 o'clock every fucking night. And if you're in Old Havana, you can just walk down the street, and when you hear that cannon, it's 9 o'clock. Yeah. Like, it's fucking amazing.
One of my favorite things was going to Ernest Hemingway. I'm a big Hemingway fan. And so I went to
the mansion?
His mansion or his real estate. And, they had the tour guides. So the cab was driving through his estate, and he has a little baseball field, right there. And so these kids were playing with the coach. I think they were practicing. And I told the cab guy, I'm like, hey, can you stop for a second? Let me take a picture. So I was taking a picture of them, and the coach was like, come. I'm like, yeah. He's like, so he took me to the
baseball diamond.
The baseball diamond, and he gave me the bat, and he's like, you want to hit? And I'm a baseball guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, give it your best shot. And I'm like, all right. So the pitcher was looking at me, and he's like, he's like 10 years old. He's like, he's a gringo. I'm gonna give him a softie. A Yankee. And so he lost me a meatball, and I just grabbed it with my hand and threw it back, and I'm like, just give me your best shot. And everybody started laughing and kind of like, oh, all right, this is serious. So I can tell he was gonna throw me his best pitch. Threw it, fastball right down the middle, hit it. Went over everyone's head, and everyone just started yelling and
yeah, that's fucking awesome.
And I was like, man, this should be in my bucket list right now. Being in Ernest Hemingway's house on the baseball diamond. Who knows, who played there, but it was just one of those surreal moments you would never picture. Like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and I'm going to go there and do that. It's like, no, it's like you experience things because you're just wandering, right? You don't have any set plans for yourself. You don't have a checklist. And I found out his bar that he used to go to is called Floridita.
Yeah, Floridita.
And
right there by La Manzana, by the hotels and stuff.
And
in front of a fountain.
I got myself one of his favorite drinks was the what's it called? It was like
the mojito, the daiquiri. The strawberry. People don't know the strawberry daiquiri was made in Cuba.
Yeah.
The daiquiri, the mojito, Cuba Libre, which is rum and Coke with lime.
Oh my God, it's so good. I probably had 6 or 7 because they're strong, but it's all mostly sugar.
Yeah.
So I sat there and is in the corner of the bar where there's this bust of Hemingway, right there, and I was just sitting and watching people, and people were dancing, people were singing, and the whole charade and everything. I'm like, how the fuck did I just get here?
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those things where you look back and you're like, you would never think to plan this unless you're just going for it.
Unless if you do it, what's crazy is that Cuba's history is very rich. From the 1920s to 1950s, there was no Las Vegas, there was no Miami. Miami didn't even fucking exist. All right, it was just swamps. It was Cuba. Al Capone was in Cuba. The casinos were in Cuba. Rum was in Cuba. The music influence has influenced music worldwide. You know, back in the, if you listen to Cuban music from 1920s, you're like, what the fuck? They had mambo, rumba, cha-cha-cha. Again, they had the biggest casinos, nice hotels. They had everybody from around the world. Even today, when you go to the hotels,
Yeah.
you have all three plugs. You have the European plug, the Asian plug, and the American plug, because that's how much tourism
Yeah.
it was getting. I was just watching. My girl just found a video that was so fucking cool. It was fashion from the 1940s
Oh
and
my God.
50s,
Yeah.
and it was all Prada and Balenciaga and Louis Vuitton, and they were commenting that the only places in the world at that time that you can get this fashion was in Havana or in Paris,
Yeah.
and it was just fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
And the craziest part of all of it, we're speaking about a country that's only 90 miles away from the United States. And people don't even think about going there. Like it's like they almost forgot that it even exists.
Yeah, you think about it as a history lesson, right? It's like Cuba is this
Communist country,
this
Fidel
country that you
Castro.
can't go to. I don't even know if the embargo is lifted again or not. If you can go there, but
Well, we have tickets for May, and we're
Oh.
flying from Florida. But in 2016 and 17, they
that's
had
true. You
flights from
can
LA.
go there.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I was on I had a layover in Fort Lauderdale to go to Columbia, and right next door was
Cuba.
Savannah. So
Savannah, yeah.
you can go there. But when I went, that was before the embargo, and so I was in Mexico
Obama
City.
just had opened it up.
Yeah, I think I was in Mexico City, and I was like, I'm here for too long. You know, I got another 2 weeks. I'm like, let's go to Cuba. My buddy's like, go, and he had a cheat sheet of like all the things to do. You know, not the touristy cheat sheet. It's all like what locals would do, and so that's what I did, and like I had a blast, man. So
Yeah, it's fucking it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place, and like I said, it's just so locked up in time
Yeah.
that you actually just go there and experience the experience and nothing else. There's
I would definitely recommend to anybody that wants to visit it before it gets
populated or
and
Americanized, capitalized. Yeah,
yeah, because it's been like that since what, the 60s, right?
yeah.
So it's interesting.
It's been like they have 50s, early 60s.
So where would you want to go right now? Like if you had a ticket to go anywhere,
Fuck.
any country, city, place.
Cuba.
Really?
Cuba. I really enjoy Cuba. Just the people out there, the friends, the family, everything is pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Cuba would definitely be my top 3, if not my 1. Fuck, man. I love Dubai. I got to go back to Russia because I went to Moscow, but I didn't go to St. Petersburg, and I heard St. Petersburg's just fucking
Popping, dude.
it's just beautiful,
Yeah.
historical, like just the buildings and everything about it's awesome. Switzerland. Yeah, I think Switzerland would.
I have plans to go there.
I think
this year.
it'd be Cuba and Switzerland. I think I want
Okay.
to do Switzerland like very fucking
Ride the
soon because
Alps, all
I
that.
just see the fucking motorcycle riding.
Yeah.
The what do you call the fucking the triangle thing that you jump off the fucking mountains, the hang gliders.
Hang gliders?
Those fucking hang
would
gliders.
do that?
Oh, dude, I so would do that.
Oh, hell
fucking
no.
even the windsuits, bro.
Like the squirrel suits kind
the
of thing?
squirrel suits. Oh, geez, that's just badass. Or the fucking. I seen videos of they have like a little cart that you sit on, and it's on a track, and it goes down the fucking hill.
Yeah.
That looks badass. Like just all that adventure shit.
Yeah.
I think Switzerland is definitely gonna be. I'm doing a Cuba trip soon. I think it's for my birthday.
The whole
in May.
family?
Yeah. We're gonna do the whole family, and then I want to do a Switzerland trip, and then I'm actually talking to Rawhide, and they're gonna do the U.S. Canadian border all the way across. So I'm gonna be doing that. I haven't been to Canada, so that'd be a good little experience.
Neither have I. I should just go
It's so
there.
fucking close, you know, and I hear great things about it, except for in the winter. Like, don't.
Same.
Shit's cold as fuck.
Yeah, I've never been there. Yeah, there's so many places I want to go this year. I have Europe planned out for June. Traveling probably.
What parts
3
of
to 4.
Europe?
I'm gonna be in Italy France and London, but I want to check out, of course, Switzerland, because I have a buddy there that I was supposed to go meet up with him a couple years ago and bailed out because I was like over Europe. I was in Europe for like 3-4 weeks, and I was like, I can't go to Europe. I can't go to Switzerland for another few days. I was over it. But Switzerland and what's that country? It's like Eastern European where everybody, it's like the clubs are amazing. I'm not into techno.
Amsterdam?
But no.
Czech Republic?
No. Czech too. I would go there. But Germany, I would definitely go to. Shout out to like the BMW folks, the family. I would definitely go to, Bavaria and
Germany.
Yeah, definitely do some Germany and do some BMW riding.
See Nazis.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, Germany. I'm kidding.
BMW. All right. Forget it.
Hold on. I'm going to take a piss real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. As I was saying, fucking Nazis.
Nazis.
Did you know when you go to Argentina, do you know the rumor about Argentina and Nazis?
There's a lot of blue-eyed, blonde people there, which makes you think, right?
Well, no. The rumor is that Hitler ran over there and he's fucking living in Argentina, or was living there in Argentina. And the blue eyes and the blonde hair.
So that's one of the reasons why I want to go there. And I have a good buddy that's from there, and he's like, Gamo, you gotta hang out with me. Like, you'll get into trouble, with your lady. And this is before, I was with somebody. But now, I'm
Trouble's your middle name. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm gonna take that opportunity and hang out with him, because we met in France at the Wheels and Waves event, and we had a booth, and he was right next door, and they're all from Argentina, and there was their first time, and it was our first time, and so we kind of like bonded, all that stuff. So, and we know a lot of the same people, just because the moto community is kind of super small. But Argentina, man, that's
a fucking place that I want to go to.
Yeah. You should come out. You should come out, ride out with us.
I do want.
If you can, spare 3 months of your.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do 3 months and shit, but I could definitely drop
weeks.
in. Yeah, I could definitely drop in. I'm trying. The whole podcast thing is just, I've had a big passion for motorcycles forever and ever and ever, and I've always rode. And you know what? Overall, with all my experience, I've ridden a lot by myself.
Yeah.
And now the podcast is to get more knowledge and more information, what's happening in the community, reaching out, having these opportunities to sit down with you, sit down with comedians, Roland. I just want to get more information and more knowledge. And now that I've been doing it, I'm just trying to jump into everything. So 2 weeks ago, we were kind of talking about, before we even started, about the track day for Harley Davidson.
Yeah,
it was the first Harley Davidson only track day ever in the history of fucking track days. Mm-hmm. And it was a great experience. It was covered by a lot of media. They got some good video of me, which I was surprised, because I told my girl,
you look good out there.
Yeah, well, that was a photographer. I'm waiting for the video. Once I get the video, it's fucking amazing. I went out, and when I was out there, I told my girl, like, hey, get videos, get shots, whatever you can do. Jim from my garage Ventura was taking some pictures too. And when I got back, I told my girl, I go, did you get video? She was so fucking happy and smiling, so excited. I go, what's wrong? Like, what happened? And she's like, they were recording you. And I go, what do you mean they were recording me? She's like, they were recording you. I was like, okay, but did you record me? She's like, no, they were recording you. And I go, what do you mean they were recording me? And they recorded me for like 5 minutes. Like, I'm talking about the fucking sports camera, the camera following me, passing up bikes, and fucking for like literally 5 fucking minutes. So I just reached out to them, and I have the recording of the recording, but I reached out to them. I said, guys, I'll fucking pay you. I want that OG fucking thing. So, that's something that I'm getting into now that I like a lot.
You want to start racing baggers now?
Bro, why not,
They need
man?
it. They need it.
They fucking need it. I'll tell you this, man. Jim from my garage Ventura, he was like, I'm heading out. I want to take some videos and pictures of you real quick on the track, so you can have it. But I'm leaving right now. And I go, well, right now it's the experts, it's the pros, because it's pros, intermediate, beginner. I signed up for beginner. And they said, And he goes, well, just go out there. Who gives a fuck? You know, like it's a track day, you know? And I'm like, I don't want to fuck up the track for everybody else and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, just fucking go out there. And anyways, the third time I was like, I'll do it. So I shot out there and, you know, I was keeping up. And some of these bikes had bigger motors. Some of these bikes were higher suspension, better clearance, this, that. I was on that track. I felt fucking confident as fuck, especially after the first round. I didn't even know I can go around as many times as I wanted. I went around probably 4 or 5 times. I was like, I'll go back because I think I got to go back, right? But it was so comfortable that I was like, fuck, if I did the motor mods, if I did, you know, the chain drive, if I fucking, you know, upgraded my rotors, et cetera, I think I'd tear it up. Yeah. You know, so that's how confident I was on that. And then with Rawhide, I went on a 3-day adventure with them, which I'll be releasing their podcast tomorrow, which when this one comes out was 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. That shit was amazing too. They just focus on off-roading, and it is fucking insane. Like
you got to do Rawhide at least once.
You got once or twice or 3 times. Like they literally go off shit that like we go on off-roading trails that off-roading vehicles get stuck in. And we're like passing them and going through mud and snow and fucking, it was insane. It was a great experience. That program was a little different because it was the first time they did a leadership program and off-roading. And the leadership program was, they had this guy named David Knorr, and he was like a business consultant. And this guy charges like $20,000 an hour to consult for corporate businesses. He was teaching us Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon business, how to strategize, how to market, how to evaluate your company, how to pitch your company, how to buy companies. Like it was just, there was nothing where I was like, oh my God, like I never knew this, but it was kind of put back into perspective. Like I can really be managing my time more, you know, using the computer, using apps like Upwork, Fiverr, fucking getting an assistant, marketing, you know, designs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was a great experience. And then at 12, you hit lunch. And then at 1, we're off-roading, fucking in the Santa Clarita fucking mountains, and you stay there. So it was a great experience. But the other classes that get into introduction and intermediate and advanced, I mean, I heard about fucking like 100 to 200 foot drops that you're just on your BMW bike. You're like, what the fuck? Yep. There's the motorcycle teeter-tot where you're going up and down. There's fucking, you got to ride through a little lake. You got to run through a little river. Like he's got 20 acres out there. So that shit is like, now I'm just trying to experience every fucking thing. Even though I've ridden through other countries, even though I've done some off-roading, I want to take that shit to the next level. So that's the goal for the future.
It's more riding.
Way more
types of riding.
We're going to have to put this on hold for a second. Sorry about that. We were talking about the whole Colombia thing and dark tourism, Netflix. The whole thing, and I know this is going to be so random for the listeners, but the whole thing is that, you know, the guy would, I think his name was Popeye. Popeye, nice. You know, he killed over 100 plus people, and he served his time. Now he's released. Now he gives a tour of, you know, where he assassined, and he has the old school radios, and he has a friend that's like, hey, soy yo, Pablo, quiero que matas a estos maricas, and, you know, like fucking, like just the way they talk, it's a whole experience, and it's a whole tourism thing. The thing is that 90% of assassinations in Colombia were done on motorcycle.
Yeah,
you know,
I can believe that.
So you know, it was always a rider, and then there was somebody who was in the back, and that's what they would do. It was so bad that in 2010, 2011, when I was in Colombia, it was illegal for 2 men to be on a motorcycle. It was completely illegal. And I was actually at a cafe, and there was 2 guys on a motorcycle. You don't understand how fucking tense the whole street and area was. Everybody was like, you know, getting under tables, fucking getting out of the way, because they thought for sure there was going to be some fucking kind of shooting.
Well, it's funny that you say that because all the motorcycle cops are 2 up.
Motorcycle cops. But did you see anybody else 2 up?
I mean, we did a couple times, so it's
really
I guess
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, but I mean, this was 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, it was funny because all motorcycle cops had a second cop, you know, as bitch, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, why? I always wondered, like, why is that? But I guess you know.
Well, I mean, if we get the facts right, like everywhere in the world, everybody rides bitch. You know, it's just in the U.S. nuts to butts, fuck that. You know, like but like police officers, families, everybody fucking rides on a bike.
Oh yeah, and so there's a big motorcycle community there in Colombia, and everybody rides.
Yeah,
Like we were in the middle of
everywhere. Everybody in South America rides. Like that's
we're in the middle of the jungle, and like this 10-year-old was ripping it up, on this like
Big time.
just stone and like rock and like non-pavement road.
Right.
And he was just like nothing, no helmet, no shoes, nothing, and he was just like easy.
Yeah, flip flops or no shoes, fucking zero fucks given. And then they India, same thing. A lot of scooters, a lot of motorcycles. Certain parts of China, same thing.
Asia is like that. You'll have like a whole family with like their dog.
India, man, India. I saw 5 people on a motorcycle. There was 5 people on a motorcycle. There was the dad. There was his like 4 or 5-year-old in front of him. There was the wife in the back holding a baby. Another kid behind the mom. Like literally, and this was normal. This wasn't like one. This was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within every hour.
Yeah.
You know, it's a norm. But that's cool, man. If you did that, I mean, again, we were talking about this before we jumped on and started recording again. But if you did that, I don't know if you want to make it public, that would be fucking outstanding.
Yeah, we're doing this treatment for hopefully Netflix that's we're gonna capture and like do like this kind of like Anthony Bourdain kind of style where it's like guys on motorcycles living for adventure, experiencing different cultures around the world. Hopefully it gets picked up soon, but it's exciting. It's like one of those business ventures I'm in. I definitely put a lot of my eggs in different baskets, and that's what keeps me doing what I'm doing. It's exciting for me.
No, that's. Are you familiar with Robert Kawasaki? I think it's Robert Kawasaki.
I'm not sure what.
He's a motivational speaker / business advisor / and he talked about that in back in the days you learn one profession, you go to school, you graduate, you get a job in it, you make a career out of it. That doesn't apply now. And this was a video from like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right now, you have to put your eggs in different baskets and just kind of like, I'm going to plant a seed here. He describes them as seeds. I'm going to put a seed here. I'm going to put a seed here. I'm going to put a seed here. And he mentioned Apple. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines that when Apple came out, and then that whole Steve Jobs was gone, they kicked them out. Apple, the only reason they were floating is because they started messing around with, the Apple version of Word or Excel. I think it's Pages. Yeah. What's the other one? Anyways, the Microsoft Office, Apple had their own office. Yeah. And their office actually kept them afloat during those years that, Steve Jobs wasn't around. And they never imagined that. They thought it was going to be Macintosh and the Apple, and this is what they created. And that's what kept them afloat. That's what made them money. And that's why they succeeded. And then when Steve Jobs came, that's when it went to the next level. And people don't understand is they want to invest just in one thing. They want to only do one direction, not realizing that you should have, you should be open to different things and different experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't know what the fuck you're going to do.
Yeah, and it's okay to fail. Like, fuck, like I failed so many times in different, ventures. And
why does it fuck us up so much?
What?
Why does it fuck us up so much when we fail?
Because you think of others and you think of opinions of others. You think like, well, I'm going to look like a fool because, I'm doing this and it failed and everyone's going to make fun of me. And it's like, who gives a fuck? Because they're not doing it. Yeah, they're not challenging themselves. They're not, putting themselves out there, and they have that room to kind of criticize you. But you're actually better off doing what you're doing now because you're trying to better yourself as someone who's like 9 to 5, who's got it safe and who can comment on anything you do wrong. And think they're high above you. It's like, who gives a shit? I honestly like criticism because it motivates me to do better. I think.
But what do you think is the point where a person like you likes it and you do better, and another person takes it and it just destroys them?
I don't know. Will? Because, I mean, let's say you get fired from a job, right?
Some people get demolished.
Do you become homeless? Do you just give up on life and you just kind of like say, hey, I tried it and it wasn't for me and I failed and this is where I'm at, and you make excuses for yourself? Or you keep moving. Like I've gotten fired for a lot of things in corporate world because I just wasn't fit for it. I wasn't, the square peg that just fit into the mold of that kind of like, style where you just obey. You just do your job, you check in, you clock out, and you're good to go.
Right.
I wasn't that person. Even though I was good at my job, I was always boisterous. I was always just inquisitive, and I always just, challenged a lot of things that my bosses did because I thought it was asinine. I thought it was like, you don't know better. You don't know more than I do. You think just because your status is higher than me doesn't mean I'm
less than you.
Less than you. And so, I would always have conflict within that kind of like like that, those jobs where I wasn't liked at the end because I asked too much, or I tried to do certain things above my pay grade.
Right.
And I realized, I'm like, why the fuck am I trying to be corporate where I could just be something else and do my job and still get paid the same way, same amount, or if not better,
and have more freedom.
Like I don't have to clock in. I don't have to have a 9 to 5 and schmooze with other employees, just
or people you don't even want to deal with.
I don't give a shit. Like I really don't care. Like their day-to-day basis. Like it's like that movie Office Space.
Yeah.
Or it's just like I'm so over the whole lingo of like corporate world, right? Especially as motorcyclists, you tend to be off the cuff. You tend to be a little bit more rebellious with things, and you question things, and you should look into that. You should look into that kind of like that voice that's that's in you, where it's telling you to just let loose.
Yeah,
because you're on two wheels. You want to be a little bit more, and especially at this time and age, it's like you can do a lot of things and make money different ways. It's not like your dad's
just doing it.
It's not your dad's pension that you're hoping for after 25 years.
Right.
My dad did it, and he looks at me and he's like, "Wait, you're going to Colombia?" He's like, "Is it safe?" And it's like, "How about money? How about this?" And I look at him and I was like, "Dad, it's taken care of." And he looks at me, he's like, I can see in his face, like, I can see that he's saying, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, why the hell?
Like, no, fuck you.
It's like, why the hell did I not figure this out, 30 years ago? And
well, it's just because you have a system that's brainwashing people.
Yeah.
Consistently. What's funny is this happened with my older brother, where he just had a job. It paid him okay.
Yeah. And
he fucking hated it, man. And for years, I'm talking about for years, I told him, quit, get the fuck out. I can't. I'll lose my house.
This the animal picture guy?
No. That's my best friend.
Okay.
That's that. He's. I mean, that guy Cash is more my brother than my own family. Like fucking, I love Cash. Cash is the best guy in the whole fucking planet. But no, this is my actual brother. And I told him for so many years, just quit, and he wouldn't fucking do it. And one day, I forgot what happened. He fucked up his ankle or something happened, and they ended up suspending him, and then they ended up firing him. And he was devastated because he was at this point, it was 16 years or something like that he worked for this fucking company.
Yeah.
And they fucking, they just cut him off.
Discarded him like nothing.
And one of the reasons is that I forgot what the suspension was for, but one of the reasons is that he's been here the longest. He's at the highest pay grade. We can replace him with somebody and pay them a lot cheaper. That was the whole outcome of it. And I've never seen him happier. The first 2 months, he was like, fuck, what am I going to do? I'm going to lose everything. It's all over. My life is over. And today, he has more time for himself and his family. And he travels. His wife's from Colombia. He travels to Colombia every 3 months. And he's living his life now. Now he's happier than ever. And I'm like, bro, you could have done this fucking 16 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Right.
The only difference is you're doing it now. And God bless. And I'm happy for you. But how many years did you fucking lose?
Yeah.
How much time? And what if they didn't fire you? What if they would have kept you?
Well, maybe he just needed that time. I mean, it's better to do it now than never do it at all. There's going to be those, like my dad, where, he went through, because my dad's a peace officer. He retired 25 years, after 25 years. And he's got the pension, he's got the insurance, and he's getting this monthly income with retirement, but he's not happy. He thought
That's not enough.
He could provide for his family, which he did. He worked his ass off, but he was never happy for himself. And early on when I was a kid, he wanted to start his own business, and a lot of our family members told him it's crazy, and he followed that suggestion, so he never did it. And like I always I look up to my dad 100%. He's my father figure. He's done everything he could for our family, but he was never happy for himself. And I've never wanted to be that person where I can provide for my family, but not be successful in my own heart, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of fear in that, where it's like you want people and your family members to be happy for you, but you're not happy for yourself, right? Because they think this is what you need to be successful, and this is what you need to be happy. But in truth, you don't want that path.
Yeah.
Right? You want something else, and it's riskier. There's no certainty about it. But at the same time, that journey that'll take you, that's to you, that's enrichment. That's fulfillment to you. Whether you make it or not, at least you're doing something that you want to do.
Yeah.
So
there was a movie I watched on Netflix last night, and it was filmed in India. I can't remember the name of it, but it's brand new. It just got released. It's 2021 release. But there's such a twist of you thinking this is your destiny, like fall in this rat race, get in a relationship, provide for your family, stuff that this kid kind of breaks away from it. And I'm telling you, the movie's fucked up in many ways.
I gotta watch it.
But it's interesting. It's interesting when you see somebody break. It's called White Tiger.
White Tiger.
That's what it's called.
All right.
Because he was the white tiger, and the white tiger only comes like every fucking 50 years. You see a white tiger that breaks out of shit once out of every 50 years or something like that. And this kid breaks out of it, and it's so fucking interesting because the mindset. I won't tell you anything about the movie other than what you see in the trailers, but the mindset was, I live in the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. My goal in life is to find a master and be the servant. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the basis, but then it gets fucking complicated.
Mind blown.
Yeah,
I'll watch it while I'm on flight back to Austin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, download it on your fucking thing.
Yeah.
We're at 2 hours, bro.
What?
Yeah.
We haven't even scratched the surface.
There's so much. I know. We got to do part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the goal? What are you doing in the next year?
By the end of this year, I have too many places to travel to that I'm actually feel like I can't do it all. So Pakistan next month.
You're leaving tomorrow, right? Somewhere?
I'm leaving back to Austin. I haven't been back home for over a month now. I'm gonna be in Austin tomorrow. And then Pakistan in a couple weeks, and
what are you doing in Pakistan?
My business. So I have a supplier there. That's we have a business partner.
The leather, the glove,
the leather gloves, jackets, and all that good stuff. That's gonna propel the Amazon business. So we're trying to figure out the drop ship kind of things where it's someone orders from Amazon, they get drop shipped directly from Pakistan strictly to wherever they are in the United States. And so,
or throughout the world.
yeah, throughout the world. So they have that. I have that. What is it? Where are we? February now? March?
Something like that. February,
March, April.
Yeah.
And then April, yeah, April, I'm gonna be going to Philippines. I know they have this whole. I was supposed to go to the Philippines in January. I have some connections there that I'm doing business with, and then my family business that I'm trying to push through there. April, May, June. May, June is gonna be Italy, Europe, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And then back to Colombia, where hopefully, yeah,
We get married.
married. Isn't that fucking crazy? Like, yeah, I don't know.
That's
I don't
fucking
know.
insane, man.
I've only met her like a few times, and I'm like, oh, that's it, dude.
See, what's interesting about that is you know, again, my friend Cash, best friend for years and years and years.
And at the same time, she doesn't know it that I'm gonna marry her.
Right. My buddy Cash is in a similar boat where he met a beautiful, smart, intellectual, nice girl. She's from Argentina, and he met her in Playa del Carmen, and he's already fallen in love like 3 times, but this is the one. This is the one. And I go, bro, like, Cash, be careful, man, because like 99% of the time, you're not gonna find your loved one in a vacation area. You know, it would be different if you were like in the south of France.
Yeah.
It would be different like if you were in the south of France in a village and you met a girl in the south of France at that village and you picked her up and you brought her back to the United States and you got married. That's different. Kind of like what you're even saying, because you're even saying like, oh, I met this girl from Colombia and she's classy and this, that, that, that. But right now he's got a girl from Argentina that he met in a vacation place. I don't know. I have a tough time seeing if it works. But then again, nobody fucking knows.
You know, it's like, I don't know. It's like it's in the eyes, right? It's a conversation. It's like the simple gestures that you kind of pick up on, and it's like, you know, I just got over this long-term relationship, and I thought that was gonna be it,
The one.
And there was so many like red lights and signs that it's like maybe not, and so you weren't sure. But sometimes you kind of like just feel it with your gut, and you just go for it. So who knows?
Yeah, no, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Trust me, I've been wrong on this many fucking times. What's funny is he told me, he goes, this girl's so fucking cool. And I go, yeah, he's the best. And I go, really? And he goes, the absolute, there's nothing better. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah, look how cool she is. She said, we should do a threesome with another hot bitch. And I go, bro, let me tell you something.
Okay.
Intellectual bitches say that, intellectual women say that kind of shit all the fucking time.
It goes both ways.
And you have to act on it now. Because the reason they're saying it is because they're trying to be cool.
Yeah.
But realistically, they don't want to do it.
No,
and then all of a
they wanna
sudden,
just
you're
do
in
it
a
for you.
serious relationship 2 years later. And then you're like, hey, what about that threesome? And how dare you fucking pig? You know, then
Exactly.
you got to jump on that like quick.
Yeah. But does he really want that? That's
a good
I'm
question.
in
Does
threesomes
he
all the time.
really- yeah.
Not all the time, but
That's
I've been
such a
in
weird
threesomes, but
statement.
it's never that picturesque where it's like, okay, it's your turn, it's my turn. It's like, no, it's a fucking hot mess when it comes to threesomes, and we can go into that later on. But
Part 3.
I know threesomes are hard. It's like you got to be a porno star, which
Or a bunch of Molly and fucking Coke and you're good and drinks. Done.
Yeah. I thought about going to Japan and doing like a bukkake kind of bullshit where it's
The
like
fuck's bukkake?
bukkake is where a woman takes all your load like by like a bunch of guys and just
A
throw it on
woman
your
takes
face.
your load of a bunch of guys. I don't understand.
So a guy just comes all over your face, right?
Right.
And
To the
there's, like,
girl.
multiple guys and just like just
On one girl.
showers you on.
Like a gangbang.
That's a gangbang.
Yeah, but they call it bukkake. I didn't know
Yeah.
Japanese were that freaky.
Oh fuck.
Really?
Yeah. Japan is like the freak because they're so.
I thought Filipinos were the freakiest.
We are freaky. We are freaky, but we do in a very sentimental way. I don't know. But Japan is, I feel like, because, you know, I don't know if you've been to Japan or not. It's
yet.
like they're super repressed. And so when they go all out, they have the freedom to just be themselves. And I feel like the porn world, you know, I segment to another world of mine before, you know, being married and all that. I was in that world too, you know, the whole
porn world.
escorts. Porn. I was never in porn. Let's get that straight. But I was in that world where just shit happens, and like you learn about all these people, and it's depressing at the same time. I would never recommend being in porn because girls will say it's a lifestyle, but at the same time they're after the whole, you know, glamour and glitz runs out, you're left with yourself, and then you figure out like
Dealing with all the fucking demons and shit.
You know, I was just taken advantage of. But at the same time, like the Japanese are super repressed, where they want to be themselves, and like the Japanese porn is like is dwindling with male actors, I guess.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm
Performers.
Asian. Yeah. So they're looking for male performers, and I'm like, fuck it, why not?
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I would have guessed Koreans would have been the craziest ones.
Same, I think so.
You think Koreans? Yeah, Koreans definitely got to be up there. I mean,
These
I
are
know
so
that's
many lady boys.
that's. I get a good friend of mine. He was in the Marines and he did a lot of traveling. And he told me he went to Thailand. He says it was fucking hell. It was hell. Like it was, and this is like super perverted friend of mine. Like he loves fucking action and everything. And he was like, I went to Thailand, Robert, and it was hell. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, dude, you see like fucking 6'4" American dudes in their 60s, 70s with 9-year-old kids and shit like that. And I was like, whoa, that's fucking insane.
Same thing in India.
India too? I didn't see that.
horrible.
Well, I didn't go to those districts either.
Yeah. So I did a mission trip years ago. It's like it's
What
all
part
about,
of India?
fuck. I can't even remember right now, but
Bangkok. I'm kidding. Just sounds
but
appropriate.
yeah, it's you know, the
Or
whole
inappropriate.
slavery, you know, the kind of like the prostitution thing. It's all over the world. You know, you can go to like Irvine and find that.
Yeah, didn't they bust like a fucking truck with like a bunch of sex slave girls inside? Like it's 50
crazy,
or
man.
100. It's a whole dark world. Whatever happened to what's her name? Maxwell?
Maxwell.
Fucking Epstein's assistant.
I don't
Maxwell.
know.
So they arrested her, and the rumor had it that the backup agenda for this political, you know, Trump Biden thing was if Biden wins, he would pardon Maxwell, and then Maxwell would rat out, you know, the right side or the red side.
Jesus.
And if Trump wins, he would pardon Maxwell, and then she would rat out the blue side. But
yeah.
nobody's been talking about her, and she basically kept the books of everything Epstein did.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't deny it.
yeah.
We got a lot of dark side in our government for sure.
And this has been historical for years and years. In our government, all governments.
And all governments, they all play together. Both, you know. So whether you're a Biden fan or a Trump fan, like they're all working together.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah,
should know
people
that,
don't see that.
right?
People don't see that. They think it's so divided, but it's not.
Not
It's
really.
just in the front they're dividing everybody up.
Yeah.
It's like they'll find any way to divide the country up, you know, so the public doesn't unite, but they unite.
Yeah, because the government's controlling us,
Yeah.
and you know, going into the deep state, kind of like that kind of world, like the aluminum foil, you know, headpieces kind of guys, where they talk about that, and they'll shut it down just because the masses won't want you to know that. They don't want you to wake up.
Yeah. They distract us. And everything, like what we were talking about earlier, the purchasing of motorcycles, cars, getting in debt, it's all distractions, you
That's
know?
what it's
Like
all about.
here's credit, here buy this, buy that, get distracted with your
Yeah.
own fucking shit, stay in your fucking home, and
Here's
that's it.
$1,200 more to keep you and buy your shit and
Be
live
happy.
your life.
We know you're gonna buy whatever
We
the
don't
fuck
want you
you
to know what we're doing, you know, the backside of it. So
Yeah, it's fucking dark.
it's horrible.
Till next episode.
Till next episode.
Mark, thanks for coming, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Till next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.